Hello and welcome to Los Angeles, California for the 2017 League of Legends All-Star event. We're here along with this electric crowd to watch the best players from across the globe do battle to prove themselves and leave their mark on League of Legends. And we'll be here all weekend long to cover the event. Enjoy.
That's right, Dash. We'll see pros add another chapter to the rivalries that have been at the center of some of League's biggest moments. Whether it's a battle at the top or new rivalries in the making, we eagerly await to see which stars rise to the top.
Perfect. In addition to Summoner's Rift, we'll also have the 1v1 tournament on Howling Abyss, where Uzi will look to defend his crown against a host of other challengers.
Over the next 4 days, the biggest names in League of Legends as voted for by you will be doing battle for regional glory. Whether that's in the 1v1 tournament where mechanical skill will propel you to the top of the table, or the regional dream team 5v5s where bragging rights are on the line, not only for these guys on the stage, but for you at home, because it's your regional representatives. You voted for them, you picked them. There's one thing that's for sure though. Picking up wins in front of this phenomenal crowd is paramount. Ladies and gentlemen, meet your 2017 League of Legends All-Stars. He's fishing when he...
So much pressure put on Cloud9. They lose an EPW. Oh my gosh! Oh wow! Deadly Force!
về với quan địa trận nhưng sẽ hơn rất nhiều chiến công đầu tiên là chỉ vẫn còn là tổng
Alevejlerin de alacak mı? Aldı. Burada.
Taldır niye yaşadı?
Korkutulan bir Taldir'in var. Monster ile birlikte yetişti. Taldir hala hayatta.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Analyst Desk for the 2017 All-Star event. I'm James Dash Patterson, joined by Indiana Frosker and Black, Chris Papa Smithy Smith, and Sam Kobe Hartman Kensler. Honored to be hosting my very first All-Star event here on the desk. I feel like it's the Wild West and anything goes.
Oh, I feel like we're in good hands, actually.
Yeah.
Dash.
Oh, you're too kind to me. You're too kind to me. We're going to have a lot of fun over the next 4 days. For the 2017 All-Star event, pros will have a chance to make their region proud in 2 ways. First, on Summoner's Rift, where the 8 teams, or regional teams rather, have been sorted into 2 groups where they will face off in a single round robin. After that, the top 2 teams from each group will be slotted into the knockout stage, where they will face off in a best-of-3 semifinal, concluding in a best-of-5 final on Sunday.
And reminder, the groups were selected kind of a nemesis draft. So it was LCK that chose not to go against LPL, so they threw them into the other group. LPL then picked Europe, and then Europe picked NA.
Yeah, teams essentially choosing their own fate from the top down. Of course, it wouldn't be All-Stars without the 1v1 tournament as well, where coaches from each team have nominated 2 players to fight for their region in a single elimination bracket that will play itself out until there's 1 pro left standing. Of course, Uzi looking to defend his title there.
Against Levi today, which is going to be a mouth-watering one. Levi's the sort of player who could go Flash Ignite, Nocturne, and make it work. So I'm excited to see where he goes.
I mean, so much of what I love about the 1v1s is the mind game element of it, right? Where we do see at times kind of the Anivia versus Anivia, or the no runes, let's see what happens. So much is kind of up in the air in the 1v1s, and they really make for a fun interaction between the 2 pros.
Yeah, the meta always feels like it starts out as the Varus and MS or Misfortune or something like that with Comet or something, and then you have the really really surprising picks that can all in. Those are the matches that really get, highlighted.
And it's also the fact that Uzi actually gets to defend a title. You know, it's no longer second place.
Yep.
He can go back-to-back here and grab first, and it is something that is important to him.
You're looking for something here for Uzi. But in the conversation of All-Stars, where the entire focus is about the individuals, right? The players who are performing at the top of their game. We've, of course, got the Fakers. We've got the Uzis. We've got the Levi's, who have made themselves known in previous events. My question to you is, who are the unknowns here? Who are the people that we're looking to make names for themselves over these 4 days?
And I'm going to jump on this one. I'm going to start with Fofo. Now, he is a big name to the LMS crowd, but he hasn't really gotten that big break to the Western crowd. He did show up at Rift Rivals. Unfortunately, it was a mixed performance, kind of a mixed bag. He's been on J-Team. They've been right there, always looking to represent at Worlds, but then just choking or stumbling right at the finish line. But this guy is still a superstar domestically, and now he wants to prove it internationally.
I mean, just being voted here is a big vote of confidence for Fofo. Like you say, previously the Type A Assassins, for now a long time J-Team, have been the almost men in the LMS. They haven't been able to break through specifically the top two that have always made the events, AHQ and Flashfulls. So getting a chance to show himself here could be a big start towards what could be a massive 2018 for Fofo.
Hit me with another name, though, Papa Smithy. Who are you looking at to make a name for themselves, or perhaps even more, open up the world to, to their greatness?
I'm going to kind of vary the tone here, because the name that was on everyone's lips after Worlds was Ignar, right? Everyone talked about Ignar, that massive match against SK Telecom T1. But now, with Runes Reforged, we have his crazy eclectic champion pool being right in the middle center. Alistair, Leona going to be big contested picks. He's also chosen to go back to the LCK. He will be playing on BBQ Oliver's, where he will be one of the star names. So to see him now with different expectations, no longer just the support on a team that overperformed, now actually a star in his own right. It's going to be fun to see him in a new element.
And I just love the fact that everyone's going to remember his Leona, his Blitzcrank performance, but domestically it was really about the threat, that hook master. So I like the fact that they're finally showing that big champion, and hopefully we get to see some of that diverse creative pool come to fruition on Runes Reforged.
Kobe, who's making the big plays for you?
If we're looking at North America, I mean, the roster is almost all veterans, but Mike Young, the rookie on the squad, I think a lot of people are going to have their eyes on him, partially because he just joined TSM, the biggest organization that we have, but also because there was so much hype for Mike Young in his rookie split at the beginning, and his performance at Rift Rivals, it really did peak there, and it fell off a little bit as he did come back. Now we're heading into a new season. He's got this big team, and there's a lot of weight on his shoulders. Plus, carry junglers are extremely strong right now in the preseason, so I want to see some Kha'Zix, some Nidalee coming out from him, and trying to really get the action started.
If the jungle's in a good place, then Kobe's in a happy place. There you have it. Keep in mind the competition is happening with Runes Reforged on patch 723, which completely shook up the game as we know it in these last months.
And I was lucky enough to be able to sit at home and watch the Kesper Cup, which was on 722, the patch before this one, the first patch with the Runes Reforged and Poke Champions. They were really the story of the Kesper Cup. Specifically, you're looking at things like mana flow ban and having, it feels like unlimited mana in the laning phase, especially in the support role. You see a lot more of the poke supports, Xerath supports the thing, Xerath flex pick. Insane that that's a thing just with the runes being reforged, but also Comet, Summoner Airy. It feels like staying back and poking. You have the unlimited mana, but you also get the bonus damage on the poke, so it feels a lot more satisfying. We might be in a Xerath meta.
We very well could be. I mean, there were less tanks floating around in preseason, so poke, the value really did rise. As far as like surprise runes though, I think we still have a lot of potential in the unsealed spellbook. You know, everybody does like to have these big one-hit combos with Electrocute or some rune that adds damage, but unsealed spellbook has so many options, and it really can shine at the highest level of play because this is an actively controlled rune, whereas most of the other ones are very passive. But you can have different summoners for laning phase, swap over to teamfight ones later, or even if you just look at the amount of summoner spell cooldown reduction that you get with these, if you stack Lucidity Boots on top of spellbook and Cosmic Insight, you can have a 3-minute flash. It starts to mess with the pros' flash timers and how they want to play the game all around, like a big Kennen flash or a big game-breaking move like that.
And I like that you mentioned Kennen because when you see a Flash Ignite top lane, you think, okay, it's solo queue, you know, I'm against the Pantheon. Now you can run that on Kennen Ignite for the laning phase for power, change it to teleport around 8 minutes. So it opens up strategies there as well.
Yeah, it's just absolutely nuts, kind of the diversity of all the runes. And that's kind of where I want to look, is the high-level support meta specifically, because I feel like a lot of the support champions are able to kind of dip their toes into so many different iterations and options right now. It really opens it up. Historically, you had kind of traditional supports, the poke champions or the mage supports that you were talking about, and then the tank supports. Yep. I feel like traditional supports, the Jannas, the Sorakas, the Sonas, they've maybe got pushed out a little bit, but it's kind of these two extremes, the massive tank champions, the Alistairs, the Leonas, and then the poke champions, that Flex Xerath, that Misfortune especially. And I'm really curious to see what meta actually breaks today in All-Stars.
I mean, what are you talking about? Leona made her debut at Worlds. Come on, she was already well within the meta.
Boy, Ignar, we got our eyes on him.
We got Ignar making his return to the stage. Also, keep in mind, we've introduced Zoe to the champion pool. So on top of Runes Reforged, we have a new champion as well. You talk about summoner spells and unsealed spellbook. Can you even imagine the number of summoner spells that would be coming out of this champion if she took such a rune?
I mean, is it introducing her to the champion pool or introducing her to the ban list?
Fair question.
I do not expect to see a lot of Zoe. I think she's incredibly powerful, low cooldowns, very hard to deal with in terms of your reaction time to even try to get out of the way of some of this massive burst.
She has so many options in her kit, and a lot of them actually do depend on what sorts of spells you can pick up in the lane phase. You know, she can be a lane bully if you get some Gunblade pickups really early on or something like that, but then the flexibility that she has, especially when fighting in jungle corridors, when there are walls that she can have extended range for the bubble, and you can cut off areas of escape. There's a lot of thought that goes into zoning with this champion that I think the pros will really be able to kind of express and discover.
And as an analyst, I'm kind of greedy because I kind of want to see her played, mostly because I want to see what do people take against Zoe, because Zoe doesn't have an escape. She can be all in. So there are champions you think of, maybe a Kassadin, maybe other picks that can try and all in her. Junglers like Xin Zhao can get in there and disrupt her laning phase. So there is certainly a big reason to consider banning her, but I'd like to see what the pros think about playing against her as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a huge difference between what we've seen in solo queue and how competitive and like synergy is really going to interact with the champion. But on the other side, I mean, yes, CC can certainly throw a wrench in her plans because she is so soft that if you grab her, tear her apart, she's just going to fall over. But imagine her timed with CC. Oof. The perfect Alistar combo into that drowsy bubble. I can't even see that spell coming, so hopefully the pros do better today.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they will do better than any Zoe I've seen, at least in my solo queue. Make sure you're throwing your support to your favorite region by taking to Twitter with your answers for our question of the day. Which 2017 All-Star are you excited to see perform and why? Make sure to use that hashtag All-Star2017. We'll share some of your tweets throughout the show. Time now, though, to send it over to Captain Flowers and Deficio. On the way, some of the pros shared what it's like to represent their region at All-Stars.
It's a big honor to get to go to All-Stars every year. I never just expect that I'm going to get voted in again.
It's an honor to be selected for the All-Stars team. I will do my best to represent my region.
第一次被投选应该算蛮开心的吧，因为去年跟前年都差一点点就可以选上，然后这次有机会来参加，觉得蛮开心。
1대1에서 제가 지금까지 계속 떨어졌는데 1대1도 조금 더 잘해야겠다는 기대하고 있습니다.
On the 1v1, I'm playing as Faker. I feel like a dream coming true. It's something I always wanted, I always dream about.
Yeah, I know that's playing Faker, so you have one shot to be a legend, maybe.
Udi là đương kim vô địch giải solo của chúng ta lần trước, và ở giải lần trước thì em cũng đã thua Udi, cho nên là lần này thì mặc dù rất khó nhưng mà em muốn phục thù.
如果我能拿到连续第1名呢，我肯定是会非常开心的，因为这个也是大家都没有做到的。
I will be playing against Ambition. Like, this guy is so insane. Like, he has a wife and he's the best jungler in the world, you know? And even if he destroys me, I will be really happy.
괜히 뽑았네라는 소리는 안 듣도록 저희가 열심히 준비해서 치르는 경기는 다 이길 생각입니다.